All right, Patriots, let's move on to our second lesson of Unit 5. Now, remember last time we covered two major topics. The first one was how to graph a line when you are given the equation in standard form. And the basic strategy there was to convert to y-intercept or to slope-intercept form and then graph the line just like we would any other line with y equals mx plus b. The second thing that we covered was how to tell from a word problem that the data or the information should be written in standard form. And remember, our telltale sign there was two rates and a total. So you see two rates and a total, it's going to be written in standard form. Now today we're going to need to focus on, well, we've got graphs, we've got tables, and we've got word problems. In all those situations, we need to be able to write the equation of the line in whatever form is necessary to write it out in. And that could be in slope-intercept, in point slope, or in standard, depending on what the situation calls for. So let's go ahead and review what some of those forms look like and what all these different variables mean within the different forms. So our first one is y equals mx plus b. We've covered this one quite a bit. Remember, m always stands for slope, and b always stands for our y-intercept. In point slope, again, that m still stands for slope, and the x1 and y1 are the x and y coordinates of a point. So that is our x coordinate, and y1 is our y coordinate. I hate writing the word coordinate. I feel like I'm misspelling it every single time I write those two O's. Now, keep in mind that because of this negative and this negative in the formula, we're actually going to have to switch the sign from going from the point on the graph or the point in the table to the equation. So we're going to have to change signs, make positives negatives, and make a negative into a positive when we do that. Okay, now standard form, ax plus by equals c. Remember, a, b, and c are going to be integers, positive and negative whole numbers, or 0, but their meaning, whenever we're actually going through and graphing them, a is the rate for the x variable, so the x rate. B is going to be the y rate, and then c was the total. And again, that'll make more sense as we go back in through it. If you remember the lesson from last time, then that will make total sense. So we're going to make sure we pay attention to what we have and what we know inside of the problem. So let's go ahead and look through example 1 and see what information we're given. Well, write an equation whose slope, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in purple, is 1/2, and whose y-intercept is 4. Well, slope and y-intercept, that tells me I'm going to write it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx, and then plus b. My m is 1/2, and my b is 4, so just plus 4. Y equals 1/2 plus 4. Okay, write an equation whose slope is 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in purple again for slope, and goes through the point for -1. Now, I have a point here, but it's not the y-intercept. So this time, I'm going to write it in point slope form. So I need those parentheses. The 1/2 is going to go there. Oh, and you know what? I didn't scoot over far enough. Now remember that I've got to change my signs for these. So this y1 coordinate, y is -1, so I'm going to change that to a +1, and then my positive 4 becomes a -4. So y plus 1 equals 1/2 times x minus 4. Okay, number 3, write an equation that goes through the points 3, -10, and 6, -5. Now in this case, I only have 2 points, so I don't really have any of those 3 setups, but I can make one. So let's take those 2 points, 3, -10, and 8, -5, and I'm going to write those in a table. So I've got an XY table. I've got 3, -10, and 6, -5. Now I'm going to do my slope calculations that I've done before. To go from 10 to -5 is adding 5. That's my delta y, or my rise. My delta x is from 3 to 6. I'm going to add 3. So my slope is, well, delta y, change in y, divided by change in x is 5 over 3. Okay, so now I've got my slope. Now I just need to pick a point. And honestly, you can pick either one. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, I probably should have done this earlier just to make a point on this. I'm going to go ahead and set up my scaffold like this with everything written in there except for the x1, y1, and the m. So let's go ahead and put our m in there. We got 5/3. Now, let's go ahead and put our x coordinate and y coordinate in there. I'm going to choose this point. Honestly, you can pick either one. It doesn't matter. On a test, on the assignments, I'll take either of the 2 points. Just pick one. I just like using the first one because it's y1. Okay, so watch what happens with this 3. The 3 just gets written right there. And notice the positive 3 became negative 3 because that negative sign came from the formula. Now, this negative 10. Well, watch what happens here. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. I'm going to zoom in on there so you can see this really carefully. I already have a negative sign here, so I'm just going to make that negative, put it right there. Because minus negative is a positive, so I might as well make it a positive. That's one of the reasons, the most visual reason I know to show you why you have to change the signs there. Mostly because that negative sign came from the formula. So y plus 10 equals 5/3 times x minus 3. Okay, number 4, write an equation that goes through 3, 0, and 0, negative 2. Now, at first glance, this one is just like the one before it, except I've got one slight difference. Remember that the y-intercept occurs when x is 0. And then we have some other number written right here. So what that means is that this point over here, 0, negative 2, that is my b value. Which means I don't have to use the full point slope formula. I can still use my slope-intercept formula. But I still have to calculate slope. So I'm going to go ahead and go do that. So same thing we did before. xy, 3, 0, 0, negative 2. From 0 to negative 2 is negative 2. From 3 to 0 is negative 3. Now my slope, m equals, delta y is negative 2 divided by delta x is negative 3. And that is going to simplify. Negative divided by a negative makes a positive, 2/3. Now my formula, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. Y equals, and then we have our m is 2/3 x plus b is minus 2 because that's a negative there. All right. Now, I said that we're going to be doing this from word problems or from tables. Basically, we've got to be able to handle any particular situation and write the equation out of it. So, when we're given tables, we're going to first find the slope of that table. Okay, then we're going to decide whether or not it has a y-intercept, which is just what we did on examples 3 and 4. Okay, this one had a y-intercept. 4 had a y-intercept, whereas 3 did not. Okay, if it has a y-intercept, you're going to use y equals mx plus b. If it has no y-intercept, then you're going to be using point slope. So look for the y-intercept when x equals 0. That's where that always occurs. So let's go ahead and look at these tables. And first off, just decide which ones have a y-intercept in them. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at number 5. And sure enough, I see x equals 0. So here I know that my y-intercept is going to equal 0, 30. Okay. On number 6, I look at it and I see a 0. So my y-intercept is going to be 0, 3. Now, if I look at number 7, this one does not have a y-intercept because there is no 0 in the x column, or actually in the x row. Also, looking at number 8, there is no 0 in the x row. That's if I used the top line as x and the bottom row as y. So these first two up top are going to use slope-intercept, whereas the bottom two are going to use point slope because I don't have an intercept. Okay, so let's go ahead and find our slope. So from 0 to 1 is 1. From 30 to 28 is negative 2, meaning that my slope is delta y, negative 2, divided by delta x is 1. So my equation, y equals m, negative 2 over 1, x, plus b, which is my 30. And there we go. All right, number 6. Let's go ahead and find our delta y. From 3 to 7 is positive 4. From 0 to 1 is 1. Which means that my slope is positive 4 over 1. And then the equation of my line, y equals m, 4 over 1, x, plus b, my y-intercept is 3. Now let's jump down to number 7. Again, this one doesn't have a y-intercept, so the only thing that we're changing is we're writing the equation in point slope instead of slope intercept. Now, remember that our delta x is up here and our delta y is down here. Our delta x is from 1 to 2 is 1. Our delta y from 7 to 10 is positive 3. So my slope, which is delta y over delta x. Now be careful, horizontal tables, you kind of have to flip those two numbers in order to make it work, because my delta y is the 3, goes on top of the fraction, and delta x is 1, top row goes in the denominator on bottom. Now for my point slope formula, where y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Remember, my m goes before the parentheses, so I got 3 over 1. And now pick any point. It doesn't matter which one, okay? I'm going to pick this one. Why that one? I don't know. I just picked one. Pick of them, does not matter. My y coordinate there is 16, so it's going to go there. X coordinate is 4, and it goes there. And there are no negatives to muddy the thing up, so there we go. Y minus 16 goes 3 over 1 times x minus 4. Okay, number 8. My delta x from 5 to 10 is 5. My delta y from 290 to 315. Oh man, my mental math here. You know what? That's 25. What am I talking about? My delta y is 25. So slope is delta y, 25, divided by delta x, which is 5. And I want to simplify that fraction. 25 divided by 5 simplifies to 5 over 1. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do my formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Slope goes in front, 5 over 1. And now, again, pick a point. It doesn't matter. Let's use this first one. Y minus the y coordinate is 10. And x minus the... Whoa, what am I doing? Let's back that up a little bit. I need to use a coordinate pair, which would be these two. Be careful with that when there's only 2 points. Okay, so y minus 290 equals x minus 5. Again, you could have used the other points too. That would have worked as well. Okay, now let's look at our graph. So we want to find our slope, find our y-intercept, and then use y equals mx plus b. In most cases on a graph, you're going to be able to find the y-intercept rather easily. So let's go ahead and find our slope here. Looks like I've got a 1 as my delta x. My delta y is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope is 4 over 1. And always on graphs, make sure you're evaluating positive or negative. What would slope dude say? As I go from left to right, I'm going up, which means he's saying puff, puff, positive. So it's a positive slope. So we've got y equals 4 over 1x. And then my y-intercept happens right here. It tells me it's 0, negative 3. So minus 3. Okay, now let's identify our slope. And here we've got these 2 points that are already drawn for me. The rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means my slope is 4 over 6. Let's go ahead and make sure we're thinking about our positive or negative. And it's rising from left to right, so slope dude says puff, puff, positive. 4 over 6 simplifies by a factor of 2 to 2/3. Now let's look at our y-intercept. I zoom in here and I can see the y-intercept here. Oops. The y-intercept occurs at 0, -2. So my b value is -2. And so I've got y equals 2/3 x minus 2. All right, number 11. Now, no points are labeled for me on here. I can see that this is my y-intercept right here. This one's going to be 0, 2, so the b value is 2. Looks like I've got another point here, the x-intercept. So I'm going to use a rise of 2 and a run of 4, meaning that my slope is 2 over 4, rise over run. And again, let's evaluate sign here. As I go from left to right, it goes down. So slope dude is saying nice negative, meaning I have a negative slope. Now, let's simplify that. -2 divided by 4 by a factor of 2 reduces or simplifies to -1/2. So my equation in slope-intercept form, y equals -1/2 x plus b is plus 2. So, doing pretty good so far. One more page of notes, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples. You're doing good. Let's just go ahead and push through. If you're watching this at home, take a break if you need to. Hit that pause button, and then come back to it in a second. Sorry. Okay. Now, when we're writing from word problems, you got to make sure that you're being careful with what information you're given. Anytime you have a number concept, make sure that you're evaluating, is that a starting value, is that a rate, or is that a total? So if you have 2 rates and a total, okay, 2 rates and a total, that's exactly what we saw last time. That's going to be standard form. If you have 1 rate and a starting value, then, well, so let me go ahead and put this 1 rate and a starting value. And you know what? Here for total, I'm going to put that in green just so we can keep things straight here. So a rate and a starting value, that's going to be slope-intercept. Now, if you've got a rate and a single point, then that's going to be point slope. And if you just have 2 points, then that's going to be very similar related to this one. And that is going to be where we have to find our slope first and then use point slope. So let's go through here and see what all we have here. A rental company charges $75 per hour. Again, I got that word per, which tells me that is a rate. So $75 per hour for a jet ski plus a $5 fee for a life jacket. Now, let's think about whether or not that's going to be a rate or a starting value. If I'm going out to rent a jet ski, and it's just me, because it doesn't say any other people out there, am I going to be paying for that life jacket every single hour or just one time? Well, that seems like that's going to be a one-time fee, so that's going to be a starting value. So it looks like this is my slope, and this is my y-intercept. So let's go ahead and write that in slope-intercept form. Y equals 75x plus 5. Y equals mx plus b. All right, 15. Jackson is ordering tickets for a concert. There is a processing fee for each order, and the tickets are $76 each. Okay, I got this. $76 each is a rate. he ordered 5 tickets and the cost was $398. Okay, so looks like 398. That's going to be a total. Okay, and then now we've also got a processing fee. We got 5 tickets that we ordered. Okay, sorry about that. I had somebody walk in and I had to pause the video there. Okay, so we have our rate of $76 each. It tells us there's a processing fee, which sounds like to me like that's a starting value, but it doesn't tell us what it is. However, I do see that I have this this 5 tickets costing $398, which looks to me like that's actually going to be a point, a set of paired data, which tells me now that I've got a point slope here. So I've got y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so my m is $76. And now my point, I'm going to do that in pink. So here, this one is going to be my x1, and this is going to be my y1. So I've got y1 is $398, and then my x is 5. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like when we have a rate and a single point. Okay, number 16. A local gym charges $290 for 5 classes and $315 for 10 classes. Okay, no rates here at all. So it looks like the only thing that could possibly be is this bottom where I've got 2 points. But what 2 points do I have? Well, it looks like 5 classes and $290. So we got 5, 290. And we've also got the point 10, 315. Okay. Now, the way that I wrote these, I've sort of set those up in a table. I guess I could come down here and actually make it into an X, Y table. But first thing we're going to do is use our slope, or find our slope, and then use the point slope formula. So from 5 to 10 is 5. That is my delta X. From 290 to 315, that is my delta Y, and that is 25. Hey, wait, are those the exact same numbers I had earlier? Yeah, it is. That's the exact same thing as number 8 here. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so my slope is delta y over delta x, 25 over 5, which is 5 over 1. Okay, now we're going to use our point slope formula. Y minus equals, parentheses, x minus. Slope is 5 over 1. And let's use the exact same one we had earlier. So y minus 315 in x minus 10. All right, 17. Temperature dropped rapidly overnight, starting at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's actually pretty easy because it told us that it's starting. So we got a starting value. And it dropped 3 degrees per hour. So that is a rate. So one rate and a starting value, that's going to be slope-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. M is 3. And then plus our y-intercept, our starting value is 80. All right, number 18, very last one. Let's see what all we got. Bakery sells cupcakes for $2.25 each. Okay, $2.25 each tells me that that is a rate, and that's cupcakes. And scones, I'm going to do this one in blue, scones for $1.25 each. And then you bought that and spent $35. Looks like I've got 2 rates and a total. So I'm going to be using point slope here. And I can use X's and Y's, or I could use C's and S's. Last time we did C's and S's, for cupcakes and scones. I'm going to use X's and Y's here. So that would be 225, no, you know what? I'm going to use C's and S's because I like using variables that actually make more sense. 225 times C plus 125 times S equals $35. So there we go. That's it for this lesson, and good luck on the assignment.